center all night to golf, where the PGA Tour is staging the Canadian Open this week. First round gets underway in the morning. But that's not really where the focus of the golf world has been this week. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. The morning will also see the start of the first Live Series event. Phil Mickelson is there. Admits he regrets his controversial comments, but was also asked about his comfort level with the money he's accepting.
You're also being seen as a tool of sports washing, an attempt to try and improve the image of a human rights abusing regime through sport, and that ultimately you could be seen as a Saudi stooge, and that could tarnish your legacy. Is that you comfortable with that?
I said earlier, I don't condone human rights violations. I don't know how I can be any more clear. I understand your question. But again, I love this game of golf. I've seen the good that it's done. And I see the opportunity for Live Golf to do a lot of good for the game throughout the world. And I'm excited to be a part of this opportunity.
Can you tell me if you've served a ban or are serving a ban with the PGA Tour?
I choose not to speak publicly on PGA Tour issues at this time. I worked really hard to earn a lifetime exemption. And I don't want to give that up. I don't believe I should have to.
Phil Mickelson has certainly been the lightning rod when it comes to the Live Series. Other golfers have been bolting as well. Bryson DeChambeau is not playing in the Live event this week, but the 2020 U.S. Open champ is expected to join the Live Series for the first U.S.-based event in Oregon at the end of the month. Former Masters champ Patrick Reed also reportedly joining the league that's funded by Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Wealth Fund. ESPN's Michael Eaves.
It's about the money. And if the guys aren't saying it's about the money, then they are either kidding themselves or they think the public is stupid. You have a right as independent contractors to go and do whatever you want in terms of making money. But to not acknowledge specifically why you are doing it is just a farce to me. It also says, Freddie, that they are okay playing for this sports league despite knowing where the money comes from.
Multiple human rights issues with the Saudis, much publicized, including the murder and dismemberment of a journalist who'd been critical of Saudi policies, the CIA concluding the killing was ordered by the Saudi crown prince. The PGA Tour drew a line in the sand, saying there would be discipline, including fines and suspensions for players who chose to play in Live events, when there's also a PGA Tour event. To the guys at PTI.
Wilbon, what does this tell you about the state of the PGA Tour?
Tony, it tells me that the PGA Tour doesn't have as much money as another tour, as what could become a rival, a real rival here, depending on how many people you pull away. Look, people can say what they want, Tone. The phrase, and I think it's completely legit. You know, our friend and colleague, Barry Verluga, writing in the Washington Post today, wrote a column and talked about blood money. And that's a phrase that comes up because of the Saudi government and interests. And you know what, Tone? These people don't, blood money, that phrase doesn't resonate with them. You know what word resonates? Money. And even if it resonates briefly, temporarily, it doesn't resonate like tens of millions of dollars, or in the cases of some, what may be a couple of $100 million. All right? So people can draw a line wherever they want to, and those things are very personal. But when it comes to that kind of money in the world we live in now, that's going to win the day, Tony. It's going to carry the day, whether it's the PGA or the NFL or the NBA. It doesn't matter. And so people are going to continue, if that money is made available to them, to say, show me the money, no matter what else has gone on and no matter what objections others raise. That's what I think is going to happen.
So I think it confirms for me what I thought all along about the PGA Tour, that it's a house of cards. They were and are dependent on the majors to police the sport. They need the majors to punish the people that go to the Saudi tour. And obviously, as we saw with the U.S. Open, they're not getting any help from the U.S. Open. These players, DeChambeau and Reed, they're not inconsequential. They have won majors. They won the Open, they won the Masters. Those are the big ones. You know, so I tend to agree with you that there's a sizable amount of people out there who are going to say, if you let me play the majors and then you give me the money from the Saudis, I'm going to take it. But let me drill down just a little bit, Mike. Patrick Reed is not a big loss. Pros don't like him, and fans don't particularly like him. DeChambeau is a loss because people like to see how long he hits it. But he's also a little bit weird, and as you've told me many times, a lot of pros are not close with him. But Ricky Fowler, Mike, Ricky Fowler is popular with fans and popular with players. He does a million commercials. If Ricky Fowler is ready to do this, every single pro is going to turn around and wonder, should I do this too? Now, maybe Jordan Spieth and Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy, and Tiger Woods, maybe they stay with the PGA Tour. But, Mike, you talked about blood money. That is not going to necessarily resonate because these people are going to say the United States government does business with Saudi Arabia and with repressive countries, repressive governments in China and Russia. It's a big ask to say, do as we say, not as we do.
People are going to take the money, Tone. They are. They just are.
And the majors aren't helping. The USGA saying this week players who have qualified for the U.S. Open are still qualified and are welcome to play next week. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract. No compromise. Sports Center all night. Dozens of women who say they were sexually assaulted by Larry Nassar are now seeking more than $1 billion from the FBI for failing to stop Nassar when they first received allegations against him. ESPN's Dan Murphy.
I am haunted by the fact that even after I reported my abuse, so many women and girls had to suffer at the hands of Larry Nassar.
Former Team USA gymnast Maggie Nichols and her coach first reported concerns about then-team doctor Larry Nassar in the summer of 2015. USA Gymnastics officials shared that information weeks later with the FBI and told Nichols and her parents not to speak publicly